Some say it's all about 1925 and beyond. The podcast. KC 100 year celebration with Pete A. Kennedy and Marlon A. Kennedy.
Welcome again to the 1925 and Beyond podcast. I'm your co-host, Pete A. Kennedy. I'm here with my big brother, Marlon A. Kennedy, and today's guest is a special guest. One to me, I must say. But let's jump to the credits. I went to Kingston College between the years of 1992 to 1995. Played Colts 93-94, 194, and played Manning Cup 95. Now, before we move on to Big Brother, I must say today's going to be a biased talk today because we have the baller in the house. And since he actually didn't play that, I want to push that in to begin to say today's going to be a biased day. But it's not that. It's about KC. So, Big Brother, come on in and tell them about yourself and our guests.
All right, thank you, Pete. Welcome to another episode of 1925 and Beyond. I too went to Kingston College, but I played a more technical, more challenging sport called cricket. I played at 3 levels and captain at all 3 levels as well, and was a bit more successful than Pete was. But it is indeed a pleasure to have with our mates finally. A successful footballer. All this time I've always had a footballer here with us, but now I have a successful footballer, one called Neville Oxford.
Yes, sir.
From the era that is highly spoken of and can rarely be repeated. So yes, Neville, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Welcome, sir.
It's a genuine pleasure to be on your program and your podcast. Okay, let me start from the beginning. I grew up in Vineyard Town, Kingston 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I started playing football from about 6-7.
Mm-hmm.
We live nearby the camp.
Yes.
And they had 3 wonderful fields. Number 1, number 2, and number 3 fields.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to just sneak over there and play on lush manicured fields, which they had nets and all that. So imagine a youngster at 7 years old playing on these lovely football fields with nets and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if people don't remember, the regiment at that time played in what we have now as our Division 1 Major League.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the English soldiers at that time. You had Worcester Regiment, DCLI, Hampshire Regiment.
Wow.
And they played in the Division 1.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty good. After that, I went to Vars Prep.
Okay.
And I went to Vars Prep from 1957 to 1960. I got a scholarship from Vars Prep to go to Kingston College. And at Vars Prep, we had several KC luminaries, if I can call them, Ray Harvey, Jack Mannertz, and several others. Because, as you know, Vars had a tremendous success.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So from then, I went to KC in 1960.
Before you continue there, Neville, because I know you start talking about the ball thing already. So what position did you play at when you were in prep school?
I played in a goal scoring position, a winger or center forward. I always like to score goals.
Yes.
So I had a little bit of pace too.
Yeah.
And just to digress a bit, I came second in long jump at champs in class 2. Ran on a winning relay record-breaking team. Myself, Warren Chensiu, Colin Green, and Shafter Distin. Wow. 1965. You can check it out.
No, we know you're not. We know you're not inaccurate with what you're saying. Neville, we take your word for it.
No, man. So I did a little sprinting as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the ball, I always when we played football, ball control is the essence of football. Mm. That's how we have always been taught. So we are stressed on good ball control to play good, effective football. And from an early age, I've been always stressed because I had a passion for football. Even when I'm alone, I get a ball juggle. Do a lot of things with it. Mm-hmm. And you must have a passion for the game to be successful at it.
Mm-hmm.
That is imperative.
Yeah.
So at Vars, we had, we didn't play like any inter-prep school football at that time. But we always had, beside Vaz, where Vaz was, is where Donovan Technical. That's where your Donovan Technical is now. That's the play field that Vaz Prep used to, carry out that. In fact, Vaz Prep had their whole sports day back in those days.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I went to Kingston College in 1960, I was placed in Form 1A. And they said that is a bright form.
Yes, we hear. We
We
hear
heard,
one
yes.
on 1A did French and 1B did
Yeah,
Spanish and then
French,
1C did French. Yes.
yeah. No, French, you're absolutely right. I know
Yeah.
my Foggy Boras used to teach me French.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I played, I just love football. So I played cold school football from in first form, I managed to play cold football. And we had some wonderful players in my time. Perrin Fitzharris, Dumpy Harris was there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But in I played cold football from 1960 right up till 1963.
Mm-hmm.
I was the captain in 62. And in that 62 team was the famous, that is, the nucleus of the 64 team. Because in that Coles team of 62, which we won, was people like myself, Alan Cole, Willie Yee, Paul French, several great players. Roy, I don't remember. Roy has passed on, but there was a lot. In fact, we beat the Manning Cup team in 1963,
Oh, practice match.
No, well, we beat them 3-1. I mean, that's not a nice.
Yes, that's what is right.
But you could say, and Lloyd McLean, oh gosh, how could I forget Lloyd? So we had a good nucleus of players playing a very intelligent football.
Mm-hmm.
So people used to come, instead of sometime going to Manning Cup matches, they would come and watch the Colts team to get a Colts match.
Who was the coach back then, Neville? Who coached the Colts team?
We had, okay, in the first year, we had a man named Mr. Wood, an Englishman. Now, the English stress and physical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine a little 11-year-old running up the steps, behind by where the geography, upstairs, the geography room there.
Mm-hmm.
Up and down, running around like mad. But that's all the strength of the English. And then later on, it was a man named Mr. Potest.
Mm-hmm.
He was a member of that when Casey started with winning that famous 14-year stretch. He was part of that group. I will come to that group because that group when we started winning champs from 62 to 7. There is a group of people, and I will mention some of them, but he was part of that. He's a Casey old boy as well. So Patterson was his name. So we after course I matriculated into the Manning Cup team in 1964. Now in 1964, boy, if you want to call it a purple patch, or I don't know, because we won everything in 1964,
Yeah.
Everything, football, cricket, track and field, cadet. I even think we brought in basketball. So, no, that was really a wonderful era.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some great, great teachers because Douglas Fortis was a great recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine if you check it out, about 18 of our senior teachers became principals at other high schools.
Yeah.
So, he did a tremendous job there.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get to the 64 now. Boy, that team, apart from the love of the game, it was a thinking team. Why I said that? Because Tony Keys was a captain. And Tony Keys is not only a footballer, but he's a sprinter. One of the members of the first team going to Penrelay in 1964.
Mm-hmm.
So Penrelay, another first, But at break time, he would assemble us all around, the nucleus of the team. and go through strategy, tactics, and things like that. You know, we're a thinking teams. We plan for the games in advance, strengths and weaknesses. And our coach, a great George Thompson, as we are with George T, gave us books to read about the great players of the past. He gave me a book on Garrincha, the famous Brazilian thing. He gave books of Benfica, Real Madrid team, Puskas, Di Stefano, all the greats of the past. Because George T always believed that, you know, if you are any discipline you are in, you must know the people who went before you.
Yeah.
If you are a painter, you must know about Picasso and Rembrandt. You know, just similar to that. So
So history is important, Neville.
Very
important.
Game. Very important.
Yeah.
So that is, you know, unfortunately, we don't have enough of that in Jamaica. We don't record very well. And that is something I'm glad to see what you guys are doing.
And before you move on, Neville, was there any of those international footballers that stood out to you that and why? It was any of them you admired and, you know, and what you based on what you read?
Yeah, man. Garrincha. I played wing in Garrincha. Garrincha wrote in his book that most of the wing backs he played about, because he would have played against the left backs. Their left foot was major, big. But their right foot wasn't so that as good as the left. So he said you swing out and come in, step over and come in. And you find the ball sometimes even just trickle over them foot and you're gone inside. So I just played that way, you know, change of pace, step out and then step in and beat a man. And then you come in. But the thing is, you must be able to kick with both feet.
Yes.
I managed to score quite a few goals with both feet. But the beauty about it is the step out and step in. Because remember, once you beat one and you beat two, you have options now. And also the goalkeeper is also worrying, are I going to kick or am I going to cross? And sometimes you carry up the right hand or the left hand, it would be in mine. And once the goalkeeper shapes one way, you can beat him down what we call the rat hole. And I have beaten the best of goalkeepers in Jamaica at that time, down in the rat hole.
What would you say? And because, well, I'm a cricketer, so I have my questions to ask, you know, but I'm not in art like Pete. So what would you say would have been the best defender you come across at schoolboy level and otherwise, and the best goalkeeper that you came across at schoolboy level and at the higher level?
And boy, I don't know if I must say, unfortunately or unfortunately, they're both KC.
Okay. So you came across them in practice?
Yeah, man. Derek Bryan. He got a scholarship to Long Island University. He studied finance. And he migrated very early. He migrated from about 65, 66, right after he left school. If Derek Bryan didn't leave Jamaica, he would have walked into Jamaica team. He would have taken over from Frank Brown. Trust me, easily. Good pace, skill. When you have a wing back that has pace, skill, good distribution of the ball, that is what you really need. And it's a true hard tackler as well. And the goalkeeper now is Leslie Lucas. I've never seen a goalkeeper who was so much, what's the right word? He fearless. Yeah, not a goalkeeper, but he played for a division team called Railway, called Selwyn Murphy. That was one of a great goalkeeper in my time. But Leslie had that sort of fearsomeness, you know. Those are the two, in my humble opinion.
Wow.
So would you say that the camaraderie and the cohesion was developed from Colts days coming up with that team?
Yes, man, definitely. There's an occasion there was a storm actually nearby Port Royal. And everywhere battening down. Water and 18 members of our team was down at Coverley Park. George T was amazed. He was, but you know he's going to be there. Don't care what. But he was amazed that so much, you know, the commitment was there. And from when you see that type of commitment, you know you're going to do well. And even building up to the 64, we didn't play practice matches against the regular other high schools, you know. We played practice matches against the major league teams. YMCA, Cavaliers,
Santos.
No, and the thing is about the Boys Town. We beat them badly, you know. We beat them badly. There was a famous match. No, I can, you know, we're recording. There's a famous match. George T. and Leighton Duncan of Cavaliers. Leighton Duncan was the coach of Cavaliers. He bet. I actually played for Cavaliers after I left school. Anyway, he bet George T. his car, you know, because Casey was really bubbling. And everybody, you know, was saying, boy, this Casey's side was. So we played Cavaliers. And Leighton Duncan bet his car to George T, you know.
Wow.
And pull on them and we beat them 3-1. And George hold the car for about an hour and give and say, Leighton, I couldn't take away the car, man. But you could have said, George, you're going to take the car.
Yeah.
But those were glorious. I remember another famous match against YMCA with like Sidney Bartlett, Henry Laggy, Pipe Esterine. All of those are Jamaica players, you know.
Yeah.
And we beat them badly. We beat them 4-0.
Wow.
So coming into the Manning Cup, you know, it was, you know, I don't want to say formality, but that would appear too boastful. But we you know, it was
the team was confident that you could have win.
Yeah, man. You know, first match 8-love, 7-love. George gets 6-love. I mean, we just scrolling through. The only match was a 1-love match, and it was against St. And then they said nobody coming over the half line. They're not taking nothing. All of them stay over there. Nobody come forward. You know.
Which team was that?
St. Andrew Technical.
That's okay.
They just stay behind the ball. You know. Nobody come over the half line. You know.
So when the managed score?
Marley Miller, Noel Miller. We managed to, you know, with constant pressure. And another thing, we had patience, you know. Once you're playing football, you're going to score, you know. Pressure bust pipe, you know. You're going must get through. But that, you know, in fact, the 64 was, I think, 48-2, you know. 48-4-2 again.
2 against.
And I think one of them was a penalty. Yeah.
So who scored against
Kingston Technical, we beat them 10-1. I think one of them was a penalty. Ozzy Carr, I think, scored a penalty. And 65 with 4 different players. 65 was 63-3.
So just to confirm now, were there, because is that group where you're coming up from Colts, was there a chance for any new players to get into the team?
Very unlikely. In fact, if you realize that 65, we got 10 all schools players. You must have heard about that.
Yes, we heard about that.
And if Alan Cole never left KC, it would have been 11 all schools. Remember that.
And these were all members of the starting 11.
Yes, man. Yes.
So how good were the guys coming off the bench?
Excellent. Let me tell you something.
Tell me some bench man.
Bench man. You ever hear about Billy Perkins? You ever hear about Billy Perkins?
You have to tell me about them.
Kick down Pele. Anyway, Billy Perkins. Third defender, Weber Stewart, Jamaica. All these players, Jamaica players, you know. Ambassador Stuart Stevenson, Jamaica players, that was the reserve.
No, Ambassador Stevenson, yeah.
That was the reserve. And the musicologist man named Roy Black. You must have heard about Roy Black, the musicologist man of the music program. And in 1966, would have won again, but there was a fracas out in Montego Bay. Some referee got beaten up, and the principal just squashed everything.
This was what? Oliver Shield.
Yeah, man, they just squashed everything. We were not any part of it, but they just deprived quite of. And there's another player, Denny Campbell. He went to. Was an excellent player. All of those guys get called up for Jamaica, You know, in 64, 65, about 8 players get called up for Jamaica on that side.
On the senior team or the youth side?
No, man, senior team, man. Senior. Hold on. You ever heard of a man named Jor Penna? He was a Brazilian who came to coach Jamaica team. Long before
Rene Simoes and them.
Yeah, long before. There was a match. KC was playing so well because after we beat these big senior cup teams, Penna said if arrange a match between the Jamaica team, the team where he was coaching, and KC. And he said if KC win that match, KC must represent Jamaica. You hear what I say? The match draw 1-1,
Come on, I play out their life. They don't want to get them game to the schoolboy them.
Yeah, but the guys them at that time knew what the quality was we had. It wasn't, they respected us. I remember Sidney Bartlett saying that, and boy, these guys playing phenomenal. Now come back even in the same year, 64, when we were beating all of the teams. You remember the Brazil under 23 team, KC, Kingston College, old boys, brought the Brazil under 23 team.
I read about that.
Hold on. Brazil was the epicenter in 64. Brazil have won World Cup 58, 62, and they're preparing to go to 66 in England.
66.
The odd players who came on that side was Edu, LSU, Rildo. All of those are World Cup players.
Yes, yeah.
They beat us 3-1 in the first match, and the second match draw 1-1. And we should have won it because I breaked away in the final 5 minutes and went for power, hit the crossbar.
Instead of placement.
Yeah. I should have just roll it in the corner.
I'll know that probably still a haunt you,
but Foggy Burrows after the match, Foggy Burrows run into the changing room and shake me. Oxford. It's part of Jamaican history, those dash way. and George is a little boy, man. But the thing about it, I'm the first. I don't know if you guys know. I'm the first man get a contract to go play in Brazil.
Yes. No, wasn't aware of that.
I read it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But my mother said, I was fairly good at academics. Mother said the boy must go take him all A-level. But then she not realizing that football is major sport. At that time, Brazil have a million forward, a million linkman. When the player Brazil will go out is goalkeeper. But the business side of them, and if you have the aptitude, you can go to university after. But we were socialized, to think of football as pastime. Football is major business, man.
Yeah.
But we can see it now in Jamaica, in the world.
Yeah.
But that is a little bit of history there.
So what was George T's coaching style like?
Brazilian.
That made a difference. What was
Brazilian? We used to play the old English WM formation. 4-2-4 was the Brazilian formation. Nowadays, them have a lot of different, but Brazilian formation. The wing backs overlap from time to time. But he was a stickler for the Brazil. for me.
Foundation.
He like them. George T, as you know, he is a man who like the beautiful game. He always said you must look like a footballer. You don't want the green shorts or the pink shoes. You know what I mean?
Traditional black shoes.
Yeah.
No, but you know, you must look the part, you know.
Yeah.
So no man, but his style, a student of the game.
Yeah.
And in fact, he became the coach after Penna left in 1967. He became the Jamaican coach. A lot of people don't know that, but
So how long did he coach them for?
he coached right up to 671. In fact, Dutch T has a history. The first time we beat Mexico in Jamaica, it was George T was the coach.
Okay.
Finally, Chicken Mason scored.
So the next thing for me, Neville, is when you have this sort of success, people are going to want to copy your style. Were you seeing that with other schools and even major league teams?
Yeah, man, because everybody started to play the Brazilian football style. Every team artist, because people were realizing it's not the long kick, you know.
Yes.
Ball control, comfortable with the ball, utilization of space and time. You know, people started to understand the benefits of playing football. You know, it's intelligent football. And more other schools were realizing that. And hence, you know, it followed through. So you have several other teams, I think, did well. The Clarendon team of, I think they're 77 with teacher Lenny Hyde. Played good football,
Yeah.
Those are, that was a evolution.
During those times,
So who were your nearest competitors back them time, Even though only they had to beat everybody. Who was the next big thing?
Well, Georges came second in 64. And who came third?
So
Georges had three Jamaican. Georges had Muggy Graham, Dennis Zadie, and Bim Williams. Those are three excellent players as well.
Yeah.
So which one are the Costa Cup team now? The country teams are the good teams.
Well,
as we play Oliver Shield against them. Who were the ones that we come up against?
The first 64 we beat Monroe 7-1 aggregate. 5-1 and 2-1. And Beer Technical in 65. That was a big match. Alan Cole had left KC. He went to Campion and he went to Veer. That was a big hype-up match. But the thing with the Veer team, a lot of the players from Veer were actually from Santos, from King City.
Okay.
But Alan Cole played for Veer?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
That was a hyped up match.
Yeah, because now he's playing against his former team.
Yeah, right. But we knew what, we knew we were playing with him.
Yeah.
So why Skill Cole leave?
We beat them 2-1,
why Skill Cole leave KC?
Wow.
Why is a long story. Let us not go into that. I prefer not to.
When I see off the year, we can discuss.
Yeah, we can talk it first.
No problem. I understand. All right, so having gone through all of that now at KC and thing now, so tell me what happened after. What year you left KC and what happened after?
When, as I said, the first time I was offered a professional contract was in 64. I didn't take it. I went on and did my A-levels. I was into the Jamaica team in 66 now. And the North American League was starting up. I had an excellent tournament in the CONCACAF. And the New York Generals, who became the New York Cosmos. I was offered another contract. But at that time, I was about 17, 18, and my parents, they could not. So I signed a professional contract with the New York Generals. And I played with them for 3 seasons.
What was that like?
Excellent, good. You learn the professional habits. Twice a day training. When they say we're flying out to California at 3 o'clock, you don't reach there at 2:45. You reach there at 1:35.
Yeah. Yeah.
Professional. And if you don't maintain that, you fine, It's professional.
Yeah.
Fine you. And if you do that, you cut you.
Yep.
You learn professional habits. And you learn that football is a running game, because sometimes the coach will, no ball today, just running.
Yeah, you got to chase that ball, man. You got to chase the ball.
You're running.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what after that league now?
Okay, I went to England. I actually went to school in England,
Okay.
I went to, British Institute of, I am actually one of the early people in computer science. As I say, I'm an old dinosaur. So I have a little degree in computer science out in England,
Yeah, you use tablet from Fred Flintstone.
No, man. You talk about when you turn on a screen, you see backslash.
Yeah, yes.
Not user friendly like today.
Yeah.
And you have to type in dir, which is directory.
Yeah.
Find the files that are available.
Yeah.
It was very unfriendly until Mr. came up with the button, so you can see little, icons, so you can click on them. It was very, they used to call us nerds, but it was anyway, and then I came back to Jamaica in 1975. And I actually played with Cavaliers. Okay, I was computer operations manager with Mutual Life a couple of years. And then I went back, them said, boy, Oxford, you're not done yet. Them Leighton Duncan say, invite me to come back, and it's all right. And we won the Division 1 in that same year. And I was player of the year.
What year was that?
75.
75.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how I managed to get it. Like, I wasn't sort of in that great a shape, but I said that.
Yeah.
How old were you then? How old were you then?
I was near 30 that time.
Okay.
Anyway, I played a little football with Leighton Orient, because I used to live in Leighton, but I didn't like the style they played. Too much long ball. They're a Division 2 team in England, Leighton Orient. So when I came back, I played with Cavaliers right back till about 81. That's it,
Okay.
But we had a good patch. We won a couple of trophies. And then I in 1981, I formed a company called Millennium Solutions. Actually, we were one of the first companies who started doing websites. And sports marketing. In fact, I had a sports marketing software, which was given to. In fact, when we went to France in 1998, I said to Captain Borrell, it was like a screensaver, but it shows the Jamaican team floating around. And I said to him, just sell this for $1 US. All the kids, but the kids will buy these things. And what kids set appearance will buy. And I went to France, in Paris, and saw my screensaver floating around in Champs-Élysées. Champs-Élysées is a big private in France. What you say, what that means, an executable file. If a person gets a copy, load it. I couldn't believe it, but that is how it is.
Yeah.
So, you're sort of naive at that time, but the person gets. That's what plagiarism is. So
yes, it is.
Even though we're going to be even worse with the AI and anyway.
Yeah.
So what led you to start your own company?
Well, after a while, you're working for somebody else, and sometimes you say, but I think I'm just as smart as you. So let me try some. I know it might be, but I said, and it was, had a fairly good name out there, and so I went into it. And in fact, even though I'm retired now, I still have some clients
Okay.
who come back to me and say, because I still know a little bit.
Nah, leave you at all.
Yeah, I have a little bit left. Yeah, but with the smartphones and all of these gadgets nowadays, 3 months in this year, in this arena now is like a lifetime, as you can see.
Yeah.
3 months is like a lifetime.
Yeah.
So gadgets and all the different things coming into play right now. But I still keep abreast as best as I can, but I can't keep up.
That's all right. That's all right. You played your part well enough
That's
and
right.
help with the movement and development of it. So
Yeah, man.
I understand.
Yeah, man.
So how do you
And
go ahead?
I also coached at the good college, I coached at KC in when was it? 93, I think. 93. And before that, I coached at Isaac Henry called me down to St. Andrew Technical. And Campion, coach at the first time Campion won a manning match, I was a coach. Some of the people who were at Campion, every day them say me called Chris Deering. So you must know about Chris Deering as a cricketer. So
Yeah, man. I know Chris Deering.
So he was a good footballer too.
Yeah, I heard.
So I did a little bit of coaching.
Yeah.
But I'm saying sometimes you mark hard as a coach because you expect people to carry out instructions in a way that you would have liked to see. You have to have a more patience.
Yeah.
So what would you say now, comparatively? Put you on the spot, when you look at I know it's a different era, but we still have to compare. Well, I want to compare. Looking at from 64, 65, winning team with how you see our boys are winning now.
We're doing exceptionally well right now. I think the spirit has been brought back to the school.
Yes.
And the school looks really clean. It looks like a university, I must say.
An institution.
Yeah, man, the background here, it looks good. It looks warm, And I like that. It appears to me over the last couple of years, we have rekindled that winning mentality. Brave me, never fall.
That's right. That's right.
Never yield.
So the aesthetics of the school helps as well to see that, how the place look clean and help with the mindset and the preparation and all of that.
Of course.
And I hear that they're getting the approach now in terms of the management and the support is a lot more focused, serious and professional, and people, it's an investment for a lot of people. It's not just.
But every great institution has type of trust. So for continuity, always be there. And also we have one of our players at that time. There's the walkway, the new walkway there by the chapel. We have one on behalf of the KC 64, 65 team.
Yes, the Walk of Fame. Yes.
We have one there,
One of the bricks them are blocks them.
Dennis is a surgeon, in Tampa there. So we decided to do that. But I love the spirit of the school now.
Yes.
And I hope it continues.
Yeah, man.
And we went if it continues that this way, we will rekindle another 14 year stretch.
Yes. And we're on the move.
Yeah, I can see that.
We're on the move with that.
I will be a champ for the 5 days.
So you delve a little bit about your athletic prowess. So just talk us about the part, the little bit of running that you did. Because you say you won a couple of medals and was on a record-breaking team as well.
Yeah,
so
man.
Tell me about that.
I was 15 at the 100 in a class 2. In fact, hardly you came up to me and I was second in the long jump. In fact, that long jump, myself and Chen Sui was leading up to the very last jump,
Mhm.
And a guy from JC. I never see him again, you know. Man take a last jump and pop and beat.
I beat the two out now.
I never see that fella again, you know. Yeah, man, but him. But and then they came always say, why you don't come and take track and field? But I love football more. I love track and field as well.
Mhm.
I'm a little bit of a statistician and historian as far as track and field is concerned. But ball is my
Mhm.
favorite.
Yeah.
But yes, he has all okay. Yes, a good thing. We had a 14 member team what started led by Foggy Burrows in 1962. Paddison, George T was in that. Vernon was in that. Solomon was in that. There's so much people who come here. Lloyd Keeling was in that. It's not by chance cases that they planned it, you know.
Mhm.
If you have specialized, if you notice cases that the specialized thing, triple jump, long jump,
Mhm.
sprinters this, high jump this.
They brought in specific coaches to them. Not just one coach, a coach everybody.
Yes, from that time. And the rest is history.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I see us pattern in that.
Excellent, excellent. So, one of the things we like to ask our guest Neville is that first thing, was there anybody, whether fellow student, old boy supporter, that would have left a lasting impression on you at school? Or
Yes,
it doesn't have to be one person. If it's more than one, tell me your thing.
the great Douglas Forrest.
My gosh.
The great Douglas Forrest. Let me tell you, Douglas Forrest. All right, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to say it. 'Cause we can. You know that a week before Douglas Forrest was to get married, his lady got killed in a car crash. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
And Bishop Gibson, he devoted his whole life to Kingston, took the baton from Bishop Gibson and helped the school. Douglas Forrest is people in school who had affairs with women outside, and he would give them money for subsistence. Douglas Forrest bought clothes and give people pocket money for just because he no understand the structure.
Yeah.
That man there, man. Great respect for Douglas. Other people as well. There's a man called Edgar Cargill. He went on to become the principal at St. Mary's High School. Yeah, St. Mary's High School. He taught me European history, but he was like a Rosicrucian. Tell you the mind, if your mind elevate your mind, it can go great heights. But those Douglas Forrest, Edgar Cargill, those two men, tremendous effect. And Douglas Forrest had a lot of things you see happening now. Douglas Forrest taking the baton from Bishop Gibson. Because, you remember the origins of KC. KC was formed to help poor black people.
Yes. We found out some of this. Yes.
To get a decent education because they realized if we didn't have that, life would be difficult.
Yeah.
So that is.
So and we appreciate that, Neville. So as we look to wrap up another very interesting and delightful episode, we asked our guests to do a couple of things, and one of them is to first wish KC happy 100, and then second, leave a positive message for the current student body, teachers, parents, everybody. So make we hear the anniversary.
Well, I wish KC a happy 100 with 200 coming up.
Yes.
as quickly as possible. and to the students, the teachers, the ancillary staff, all the various people, continuous support from all the people who went before you. We are there to support you in any way and keep on doing what you're doing because it looks good.
Yeah, bro.
KC is not a normal school.
Not at
It
all.
is a pioneer school.
Yes.
Most things you see people follow. So I say I wish the school, the staff, the principal, the boys, ancillary staff, all the best. And keep on doing what you do.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Man, there you have it from one of the greatest ever. The man himself, Mr. Neville Oxford. I did some research and it says that you admire the boxer Muhammad Ali and the sprinter Usain Bolt. Man himself who created the business Millennial Solutions. The man himself who has been a part of the iconic and the historic team from Kingston College who have reigned across the islands of Jamaica, 64-65. Man.
Big already, you know. Mine swell some more.
But these are the things we hear because, like I tell you, I'm glad Marlon asked the questions because, sir, I tell him that I will have permanent smiling cheeks after this because, again, I remember you coming to the school during the time 93, 94 when I played. I remember seeing and hearing all of these things. Left the school and never had a contact. So you don't understand. Like he said, I'm in just soaking up all of this and the opportunity to share this with the entire world and people all over the globe who have heard your story but never really had an opportunity to hear it from you yourself. You don't understand what 1925 and Beyond podcast has just done for KC 100 year celebration. And we just say on behalf of everyone, thank you. We appreciate you. And you're still doing the work. I love the shirt you're wearing there with the 100 on your chest. So we see it. Fortis all the way. I see your band. I didn't put my band on, but here's my band. Right? So we got the band.
I have two.
Pete, I want to tell you, when I went to Gibson the other day, so Neville and him friend them control a piece of a corner up there in the grandstands there, man.
Oh, so you know what? I went up there, but I didn't
think man, I dem it up in the corner.
Yeah, man, they want to go up there. We see Dr.
But,
C them.
But Pete, and anybody walk go over there, so some big man thing are going over there.
Yes,
go over there.
right,
The care in there, purple and white. The man look for you strange, you know,
take care of everybody.
Yeah, man. You have to get permission to go over to the big man them. So Pete, now that we know Neville,
yes,
we can say
yes.
And that man never apart. That man,
welcome.
That man never walk.
Yes. So when you see us coming up the steps, because you're right, Marlon, them, they're all the way in that top
all the way up in the corner, right next to
come from the bottom. So just make sure you greet us. But there's no other way to end the 1925 and Beyond podcast, Mr. Oxford, without actually repeating the greatest motto that came out of the greatest institution. And we do it for everybody. And you know it well. And it goes like this. Fortis. Cadere. CEDRE. None Potest. The brave may fall.
But never yield.
This from a KC old boy. Fortis then. Fortis now. And Fortis forever. So no matter what it is from time to time, it's always about the Fortis. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. And continue to give back the way you do. We appreciate you. And we'll see you on the next episode. Cheers. From 1925 and beyond.
Fortis, man.
Yes.